Today, we're going to look at a totally different way of thinking about your money. Forget random transactions. Think of it more like a carefully designed system. We're calling it the architecture of savings and investments.
You know that feeling of financial anxiety, right? Where it all just feels like a jumbled mess? But what if you could swap all that chaos for the kind of clarity you get from a really well-designed building? That's the core idea we're diving into today.
So this whole system, it's built on a really simple but powerful idea. Instead of just thinking about one big pile of money, picture this. A truly strong financial life is held up by two separate but complementary pillars.
And here they are, our two pillars. On one side, you've got savings. This is all about security and resilience. It's your financial foundation. And on the other side, investments. This is your engine for growth and, long-term sufficiency. They have totally different jobs, but they work together to create a system that can take a hit and keep you going.
Okay, but before we can even start building these pillars, we need a blueprint, right? And that entire blueprint, it all comes down to a single, super important number that basically defines everything else.
And that number is what we call your total annual spend plan. It's the answer to a really fundamental question. What does my life actually cost each year? And it's made up of two key parts, which, let's break them down right now.
All right, first up, base expenses. Just think of these as the cost of survival. It's the stuff you have to pay for no matter what. Your rent or mortgage, groceries, insurance. Then you've got discretionary expenses. This is the fun stuff, the choices that make life awesome. Travel, hobbies, eating out. They're super important too, but man, they are way harder to predict.
And this is the breakthrough idea. Instead of driving yourself crazy trying to track every single coffee you buy, which, let's be real, is frustrating and never works, you simplify. You just treat all that discretionary spending as a percentage of your base expenses. Maybe for you it's 50%, maybe it's 100%. The key thing is you get to decide.
So let's see how this formula actually works. You figure out your essential base expenses. Then you just add a percentage for all the extras. Let's say your base is 50 grand and you decide on a 100% discretionary percentage. Boom, your total spend plan is $100,000. That's it. And that one number, it's now the target for your entire financial architecture.
Okay, now that we've got our one number locked in, it's time to build our first pillar, savings. And I want you to think about this not as some little piggy bank, but as a seriously heavy-duty, multi-layered shield that's all about protection. So this shield, it's actually made of 3 separate buckets, and each one has a very specific job to do. We've got rainy day funds, usable cash, and something called the bank dollar alternate. Let's dig into each one. First up, your rainy day fund. This is the absolute bedrock of your security. I can't stress this enough. It is not for investing. It is for true emergencies. The whole goal here is to have enough cash to cover several months, or hey, maybe even a couple of years of your base expenses, just the essentials. And this money has to be kept in safe, easy-to-access places so it's there when you really, really need it. Its only purpose is resilience, period.
Honestly, the best way to think about this fund is like that fire extinguisher you see behind glass. You really hope you never have to use it, but you're so glad it's there for a real crisis. And you definitely don't break that glass for a minor inconvenience.
All right, the next layer of our shield is usable cash. This is your financial command center, your ground zero. It's basically your main checking account where your paycheck lands and all your daily bills fly out of. Its whole job is to be flexible and handle all those day-to-day transactions.
But what happens when your usable cash account starts to get a little too full? Well, you move that excess over to the third bucket, the bank dollar alternate. Think of this as a bridge for cash you don't need right away. You put it into low-risk things like T-bills to protect its spending power from inflation, but without throwing it into the wild ride of the stock market. So, our savings shield is built. It's strong. Now let's move on and build our second pillar, the investment engine. And if savings was all about protection, investing is all about making your money work for you to get to that long-term sufficiency.
And just like our savings pillar, the investment pillar is also broken down into 3 dedicated buckets. Each one is designed to fund a huge part of your life: your living income, your health care, and your long-term care.
And again, each bucket has one specific job. The living income bucket, that's the engine, right? Its job is to generate enough income to cover your entire total spend plan. The healthcare bucket is a shield, designed to fund your medical costs. And finally, the long-term care bucket is your safeguard, getting you ready for one of life's biggest and scariest unknowns:
Look, the ultimate goal here isn't just about growing a big pile of money, a nest egg. It's about building an engine where the income from your assets, from your ownership, completely replaces the income from your job. That is what financial freedom really looks like.
All right, we've done the work, we've built the pillars, we've filled all the buckets. Now let's take a step back and just admire the complete financial architecture that we've put together.
And there it is, the complete system, right at a glance. You've got 2 pillars, savings and investments, and you've got 6 buckets, each with a crystal clear role: foundation, ground zero, bridge, engine, shield, and safeguard. It's just a clean, powerful, and elegant architecture for your entire financial life.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's this. When you build a system like this, you pretty much eliminate that constant financial anxiety. Why? Because every single dollar has a job. It's either protecting you in the foundation, flowing through ground zero, or it's hard at work for you in the engine. It brings clarity. It brings purpose.
And it's pretty amazing when you think about it. This entire resilient structure. It all comes back to that one simple question we asked at the very beginning. Once you know what your life costs, once you have your total spend plan, everything else just logically falls right into place.
So the blueprint is right here in front of you. It's clear, it's actionable, and it takes all that financial complexity and turns it into something, well, elegant. The only real question left for you is, what's your number?